When the king of rock and roll took to the stage, magic happened. But behind that dazzling stage light, a very different story unfolded. A tale not of a free-spirited icon, but of a young man caught in a web of control. The story goes that Elvis Presley's friendship with Nick Adams ended not over disagreements or life's natural drift, but because of rumors swirling around his sexuality. Was it Elvis's private life or his public image that led to this rift? Nobody knows for sure, but the whispers say it was either Adams or Elvis's manager, Colonel Tom Parker, who pulled the strings to end their bond. Not Nick Adams, but the powers that be around Elvis were seemingly relentless in their manipulation. This wasn't an isolated incident. Elvis's circle was filled with celebrities who were openly gay or bisexual, including Liberace and Sal Mineo. Hollywood publicist Patty Friedman speculated that Elvis might not have even realized these men were drawn to him for more than just his fame. It was as if Elvis operated under a spell, believing everyone was just captivated by his star power, unaware of the true nature of their connections. Colonel Parker, Elvis's manager, was a figure of immense power and influence. He wasn't just Elvis's manager, he was his father figure, business partner, and gatekeeper. When Sal Mineo starred in Rebel Without a Cause, rumors quickly spread that Parker had ordered Elvis to distance himself from Mineo, fearing it would hurt his image. This wasn't just a rumor, it was a pattern. When the film version of Bye Bye Birdie was in the works, Parker went into damage control mode. He instructed everyone at the studio to ignore any communication from Elvis himself, fearing the character Conrad Birdie would be too closely associated with Elvis, who was already under scrutiny for his own personal life. This control extended to Elvis's public persona. When actor Jesse Pearson played Conrad Birdie on Broadway, he was explicitly told not to imitate Elvis but rather to think Elvis, translating to being sexy and charismatic. The message was clear: maintain the illusion but don't blur the lines too much. Even the songs and the casting were carefully curated to avoid any direct connection to Elvis, for fear of legal repercussions or public backlash. Despite this tight control, Bye Bye Birdie itself was a resounding success. The music, the casting, even the plot, everything was designed to shine. It was a far cry from Elvis's own film roles, which many felt did little justice to his talent. Maureen Stapleton, who appeared in the film version, believed Elvis deserved better. The movie was a hit, but it was a shadow of what Elvis could have achieved if left to his own artistic devices. The question remains, how much of Elvis's genius was stifled by those around him? Talent manager Brad Gray pointed out that while Elvis's movies extended his fame, they also limited his potential. Without the pressure of constantly producing hit after hit, stars like Bing Crosby or Frank Sinatra might have enjoyed longer, more varied careers. Elvis, however, was locked into a cycle of constant production, with Colonel Parker pulling the strings. This control wasn't just about managing a career, it was about maintaining an image. Russell King, a New York Times deputy news editor, noted that Elvis's image began to fray once he ventured into Hollywood and Vegas shows. The flashy costumes and the over-the-top performances tainted the original, pure Elvis that fans first fell in love with. For many, the real Elvis was the pre-Hollywood, pre-pill era, a simpler, more authentic artist. Yet even as Elvis's image soured, his fanbase remained fiercely loyal. Movie producer Hal B. Wallis observed that 500,000 hardcore fans would see Elvis's films 3 times each. This dedication was fueled by Colonel Parker's savvy marketing. He knew these fans would support Elvis no matter what, even if it meant watching him in less than glorious roles. But beneath the surface, tensions ran high. Philip Dunn, director of Wild in the Country, accused Parker of having an unbelievable control over Elvis, almost like a master puppeteer. Red West, a longtime friend and co-star, described Parker as having a great businessman's mind, but one that was torture for Elvis, who lacked the business acumen to stand up to him. Glenda Farrell, who co-starred with Elvis in Kissin' Cousins, even recounted a bizarre encounter where Parker touched her head in a way that felt more like a cult leader than a manager. Elvis himself was caught in this web, often feeling like a pawn. He complained about the movies he was forced into, feeling he had no say in his own career. Unlike other stars, he was remarkably hands-off about his screen roles, leaving the decisions to Parker. This manipulation extended to his personal life, with Parker often dictating who Elvis could and couldn't associate with. Despite these constraints, Elvis's influence was undeniable. George Michael, the singer, noted that without Parker's guidance, Elvis would still have become a star, albeit perhaps a bit later. But the question remains, would he have been the same icon without Parker's tight control? As we peel back the layers of Elvis's life, one thing becomes clear. The King's story is not just about music and movement, but about the unseen forces that shaped his journey. The magic on stage was real, but the shadows off stage were just as significant. Tom Parker was more than just Elvis Presley's manager. He was Elvis's gatekeeper, mentor, and many would argue his master. Parker's influence over Elvis ran deep, shaping not only the singer's career, but also his lifestyle and personal life. To understand Elvis's world, one must understand Parker's role in it. Elvis's rise to fame brought a whirlwind of attention and offers. Parker, shrewd and ambitious, stepped in to navigate this chaos. He became Elvis's primary handler, making deals, negotiating contracts, and keeping the young star out of trouble, or so it seemed. But beneath the surface, Parker's true motives were more complex. One tale goes that some believed Parker had a strange hold over Elvis, even suggesting a sexual connection. This was quickly dismissed by those who knew Elvis, including actor Jim Nabors, who was close to the singer. Nabors laughed off the idea, calling it absurd. He knew Elvis's wife, despite being older, was far from interested in anything sexual with her husband. Another rumor swirled that Elvis might have been hiding his racial heritage, with Parker keeping it secret to maintain a certain image, but this too was debunked. Elvis's Southern roots were genuine, and Parker's claim was seen as a way to add mystery to Elvis's persona. Gay UK photo archivist Gil Gibson offered a different perspective, suggesting Parker manipulated rumors about Elvis's sexuality. Gibson knew Elvis was straight, despite some media speculation fueled by his public persona and delayed marriage. For Gibson, Parker's strategy was to distract from Elvis's real strengths, his music and charisma. Parker's approach was all about control. He created a bubble around Elvis, shielding him from the outside world and its complexities. Henry McClurg, a newspaper publisher, described Parker as someone who played the money and loyalty buttons. Parker built a loyal inner circle, the Memphis Mafia, who protected Elvis but also served Parker's interests. This inner circle wasn't above doing demeaning tasks for Elvis. Joe Esposito, Elvis's road manager, recounted how these men would fetch Elvis's pants without hesitation, even when he wasn't wearing underwear. It was a system built on loyalty and dependence, with Elvis at the center but largely unaware of the machinations around him. Parker's strategy was simple: keep Elvis happy, distracted, and financially dependent. Michael Friedman, a composer and lyricist, suggested Parker acted as a sort of pimp, keeping Elvis busy and away from financial worries. But Elvis never needed such services, suggesting Parker's true goal was to keep Elvis focused on performing and earning, rather than thinking. Parker was a master manipulator, using Elvis's desires and fears to keep him in line. He could have helped Elvis balance his career and personal life, as Sterling Holloway, a co-star, noted. But Parker chose to maximize his earnings instead. When Elvis's movie career stalled, Parker raised his managerial fee to 50%, prioritizing his own income over Elvis's well-being. This self-serving approach extended beyond money. When Elvis's movies faltered, Parker suggested doubling his managerial fee, showing little concern for Elvis's career. Andrea Jaffe, a publicist, called this behavior shocking, noting that Elvis willingly handed over half his income. She questioned how someone could ask for such a deal and still get it. Parker's addiction to gambling added another layer of complexity. Shecky Greene, a Las Vegas comedian, revealed Parker's growing debts and how they became a public embarrassment. Parker's financial troubles didn't stop him from continuing to exploit Elvis, even as Elvis's own problems mounted. Despite Parker's questionable ethics, some saw him as a necessary evil. Frank Sinatra Jr., Elvis's friend, suggested Parker's behavior was criminal, especially his exploitation of Elvis's drug addiction. Parker's control over Elvis made it easier to manage his vices, further solidifying Parker's grip. Parker's ultimate goal was to maximize his earnings, even after Elvis's death. He sold off Elvis's song royalties and other assets for substantial sums. Lane S. Pincus, a business advisor, revealed how Parker coerced songwriters into adding Elvis's name as a co-writer, ensuring continued royalties. Even after Parker's formal control ended in 1983, his influence lingered. Elvis Presley Enterprises, the company managing Elvis's estate, continued to pay Parker a significant sum for years. It took legal battles to finally depose him, uncovering his shady dealings and illegal status as a foreign national who never became a U.S. citizen. Elvis's mother, Gladys, had always distrusted Parker, sensing something was off. Bill Bixby, who worked with Elvis, believed Parker's influence was a major factor in Elvis's early death. He thought Elvis would have lived longer without Parker's manipulation. Despite the controversies, some remembered Elvis and Parker's relationship positively. Dick Van Patten, a TV colleague, noted that Elvis enjoyed working with Bill Bixby, even if Parker disapproved. Van Patten believed Elvis's career might have taken a different path without Parker, suggesting the TV special in 1968 was a turning point. This special, a departure from Parker's usual conservative approach, showcased a more modern, sexy Elvis. Director Steve Binder wanted a younger, edgier Elvis, clashing with Parker's vision of a more subdued, traditional image. Elvis sided with Binder, marking a shift in his public persona and career trajectory. Tom Parker's influence on Elvis was profound and multifaceted. While he brought structure and protection, his self-interest and manipulative tactics left a lasting impact on Elvis's life and legacy. Understanding Parker's role helps us see the complex forces that shaped one of music's greatest icons. Elvis Presley, the king of rock and roll, left an indelible mark on the world of entertainment. His journey from a small-town boy to a global icon is filled with lessons about fame, identity, and the price of success. As he transitioned from a successful singer to an actor, Elvis faced both triumph and turmoil. When Elvis first stepped into Hollywood, his every move was watched closely. He quickly became first billed in his films, a testament to his drawing power. His early movies varied in quality but were all hits. This success, however, came with its own set of challenges. The U.S. Army's call during the war could have ended his burgeoning careers in both music and acting. But Elvis's talent and the strategic moves of his manager, Tom Parker, kept his name in the public eye. Elvis recorded new songs while serving, ensuring his popularity didn't wane. Upon returning, Elvis starred in G.I. Blues, a movie that showcased his military experience. However, behind the scenes, things were less glamorous. At 24, Elvis was dating a 14-year-old, a fact that added to the controversy surrounding his already legendary status. This period also saw the rise of the Beatles and other new artists, which, combined with Parker's conservative approach to Elvis's career, began to wear on his popularity. As the 1960s progressed, Elvis's music hits slowed down. The Beatles and other new artists changed the music landscape, and Parker's insistence on formulaic songs and starlet co-stars led to repetitive and less engaging films. Even Elvis's legendary Las Vegas shows, which he reluctantly resumed, couldn't fully revive his flagging career. His frequent film-making schedule, which involved quick turnaround times, further drained his creative energy. Despite these challenges, a pivotal moment came in 1968 with a televised comeback special. Directed by a young and energetic director, this special marked a turning point. Elvis's performance reignited his career as a live entertainer. He began touring extensively, a format that gave him more control and allowed him to connect directly with his fans. Las Vegas became his new home base, where he could shine without the pressures of Hollywood. Elvis's personal life was as tumultuous as his career. His fear of true intimacy was evident in his relationships. A hairdresser who knew him well said he was close to crying. He asked, "Do you realize I'll never know if a woman loves me or Elvis Presley?" This insecurity was mirrored in his avoidance of certain celebrities he admired, fearing comparisons and competition. Even those close to him, like his uncle Vester, noted his dislike for those he saw as unsuccessful or self-destructive. Despite his personal struggles, Elvis had moments of admiration and kindness. Cary Grant, a fellow celebrity, publicly praised Elvis, though the encounter left Elvis puzzled. Similarly, Liberace, a fellow performer, expressed admiration for Elvis's talent, even wishing he could play the piano as well. These interactions highlight Elvis's complex personality, simultaneously insecure and capable of deep respect for his peers. Elvis's impact on music and culture is immeasurable. Neil Bogart, founder of Casablanca Records, noted how Carl Perkins, despite recording Blue Suede Shoes first, is often forgotten compared to Elvis. This illustrates how Elvis's fame overshadowed even significant contributions to music. Hal Cantor, a writer who worked with Elvis, recounted how Elvis wanted his movie characters to be serious, unlike the smiling actors he admired. This desire to portray depth in his roles showed Elvis's ambition to be taken seriously as an actor. George Cukor, another filmmaker who worked with Elvis, remembered the star's goal: to become a lasting movie star. Elvis's efforts to achieve this were evident in his later work, where he sought to leave a more substantial legacy beyond his music. Elvis Presley's life was a mix of extraordinary success and personal turmoil. His story teaches us about the highs and lows of fame, the importance of staying true to oneself, and the constant quest for authenticity. Even as he struggled with personal demons and the pressures of stardom, Elvis's influence on music and pop culture remains unmatched. His ability to connect with people through his music and performances continues to inspire new generations. In the end, Elvis's legacy is not just in the records he sold or the films he starred in, but in the way he changed the world of entertainment forever. His journey reminds us that true greatness lies in the ability to overcome adversity and to keep reaching for the next horizon.